Right, we're rolling.
Rolling.
Oh.
It's a bit different, but yeah.
Some others. Slightly up,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've not had time to take my coat off yet, but never mind. Right, so last week's performance went well. It's just that when you watch it back on YouTube, you've only got the torso of me, you know. It's because I zoomed in a bit closer than last week. So tonight, it's actually recording me in full, so I'm more than a torso. So, right, in case you've never seen me here before, I do stand-up comedy and impressions. So, and I just noticed that, have you noticed that they're now starting to get us to change the pronunciation of a few company names, like Hyundai is now Hyundai. I mean, it sounds like a car's gone past it. Hyundai, you know. And or he's sneezing in Chinese, you know, Hyundai. And anyway, and also there's, of course, there's IKEA now. It's now pronounced IKEA. The idea of installing IKEA furniture was to get rid of icky furniture, and now you're installing IKEA furniture. So what's the point? It's ridiculous, isn't it? And probably because they didn't want Keir Starmer thinking that the furniture brand was named after him, IKEA Starmer, you know. And I've got a nickname for him that I actually use on social media, which is Starmageddon. And of course, Mayor London, Sadiq Khan, is referred to as Khan Age, because that's what he's created with this ULEZ. And talking about ULEZ, there's, Les, if you're watching, I don't mean you personally, but there you go. Anybody called Les that's walking around London, they're probably wondering why people are in such a bad mood with them, because, you know, the F word is about to be used here, so, but look at it, it's only going to be used once in the performance. Anyway, so, can you imagine it? Les is walking around London minding his own business. And then all of a sudden, somebody shouts, "Fuck you, Les!" And he's there turning around going, "What have I done? What have I done?"
Or embarrassing.
It would be a bit embarrassing, wouldn't it, for him? But, yeah, and I mean, it stands for ultra low emission zone, and then what's the other one that's coming out? LTNs is a low traffic neighbourhood. I mean, you won't see that on the internet, because that would be why your internet's really slow, isn't it? You know, I'm stuttering, and you know, it's like the microphone's electrocuting me on here, you know. But I'll be one frame like this, and another frame like that. I mean, but, you know. So, it's really crazy how the internet can freeze up like that. I mean, it's like Sky. If you've got satellite TV, when the bad weather is so cloudy and the clouds are so thick, it pixelates your viewing. And you're thinking to yourself, I pay £70-odd a month to have a whole package, and I can even pick up Sky Sports 1, 2, 3. But I can pick up Eurosport, which is free anyway. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? And I mean, I don't personally subscribe to Sky. I mean, I've got broadband with them, but that's about it. I mean, if I was stream anything, I always use Pluto TV or even Plex, or even Amazon's Freeview. But there you go, Freeview as it's called, not Freeview. So, right, now onto some impressions. So, can you imagine it? If Dennis Norden was alive today, if he was the original host of It'll Be Alright on a Night, and it'll be like I'm not done this impression in over 30 years, but because I used to do this to entertain my friends in the college canteen, and they loved it, but here it is. Are you one of those people who loves cock-ups and laughter, and laughing at the cock-ups and misdemeanors on television? And I'll tell you a couple of them. Do you remember there was a classic cricket one that's gone down in legend as there used to be cricketers called, with the surnames Willie and Holding, and it was quite funny because the commentator said the batsman's holding, the bowler's Willie. And of course it sounds really funny, but when you look at it written down, there is a comma. The batsman's holding, comma, the bowler's Willie. But because in speech you don't see punctuation there. So you know, I mean, by the time you know somebody's actually put a full stop to what they were talking about, is when they shut up and walk away, and that's usually the sign of a full stop, isn't it? And when they're shouting, that's the exclamation mark. I mean, it's like the episode, any episode of Friends. Why do they shout as if they're trying to make it any funnier? If it's not funnier without shouting, then try not shouting, and it could be a lot funnier without it. I mean, there's a stand-up comedian that does exactly the same. Russell Howard, I nearly said Russell Brand there, but he's in a bit of trouble, isn't he? Being investigated about these allegations. So far the police haven't arrested him or anything, so there's probably little to no truth to what's been said. But he's been investigated. Oh, and talking about investigations, GB News has come under fire, hasn't it, because of Lawrence Fox. He's come out with a bit of misogynistic comments about a journalist for Joe Politics, which is an online newspaper or online magazine or channel or something. And yeah, apparently he used the phrase, "Who'd want to shout that?" I mean, I don't know why he mentioned that, but he's just opened the doors for the likes of BBC and the hardcore left to try and close down GB News. So, I mean, GB News is pretty good, to be honest. I enjoy it. And it's quite nice to hear something other than what BBC tells you. So, and of course, there's anybody who knows me knows that I do Family Guy, because a lot of people like the Family Guy impressions. And when I'm asked to do an impression, they always ask me to do, they always seem to ask me to do Stewie Griffin. So I have somebody trying their hands in the toilets. Anyway, I don't know whether you can hear that on the online. But there you go.
It's not a regular backup singer.
Pardon?
It's not a regular backup singer, that.
Is it? Ah, right. Right. He's making a good tune there. It's called When Our Mind's Getting Dry. Right. Oh, I've got a joke about that hand dryers. What's the difference between a prostitute and a hand dryer? A hand dryer doesn't charge you for a blowjob, does it? So, yes, and of course there's the Family Guy impressions. So Stewie. Everybody loves a bit of Stewie, don't they? Stewie Griffin. That's the one with the rubber ball shaped head. Or if you're watching this in America, the American football head. Yes, he's the baby that wants world domination. He soon grew up to be Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum, didn't he? And of course, I would imagine he'd be against, Stuart Griffin would be against the woke snowflake brigade, wouldn't he? Because who else is fed up with the wokey dokies getting obsessed about the slightest thing? I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, you try and have a conversation with something, and they're saying, you can't say this, you can't say that. Well, so far I've already said it, but, they go on about diversity, don't they? And they say, we should be more diverse in everything. Well, the Tom and Jerry cartoons, there's this Jamaican lady that doing the house cleaning. Now, I thought she was a woman who owned a cat. Thomas the cat. Well, they see it as a reference to the black slave trade that took place in the early 20th century. And I thought to myself, now that's crazy. I mean, where does it say, where did a white man come along and say, why isn't this clean woman? Well, Mr. So-and-so, it's, that's not good enough, do it again. But I thought she was a woman with a cleaning fetish because she was always cleaning, wasn't she? And going on about diversity in cartoons, there's, they tried to have Speedy Gonzales cancelled, didn't they? Because they say it's stereotyping Mexicans. Well, because the mouse has got a Mexican accent, that's stereotyping, is it? I mean, can you imagine it? This is how he would feel now. Yeah, I'm not used to being cancelled. I think they shouldn't cancel me. I'm only a poor Mexican mouse. And I just recently bought a Mexican carpet. Andale! So, there you go. And that's how that happened. And of course, the recent one they're trying to ban in cartoons is Pepe Le Pew, because he's making a nuisance about a cat. I mean, don't these wakey-dokies realise these are cartoons, and it's a situation that's funny, because the whole joke of the Pepe Le Pew cartoons is the cat always ends up all white stripe going down his back, and he's mistaking it. They don't even see that Pepe Le Pew might be short-sighted for all we know. I mean, not quite as short-sighted as Mr. Magoo. No, Waldo, no, Waldo. Right, well that's that was Mr. Magoo, in case you was wondering. But I mean, Pepe Le Pew was French, so I mean you couldn't get any more diverse than the French being in it, could you? It's ridiculous. So it's about time the wiki-dokies go from their backsides and not only grew a brain,
ring the bell when you
but grow
to
up.
get off. You have got a bell. I do.
Yeah. So
I enjoy the talk.
that's the. I'm assuming my time was up then, was it?
Sorry, what?
Did you say my time was up?
No.
All right.
No,
That's okay.
we were talking about this Japanese game show about cake.
Oh, right, okay, Japanese game show. Oh, there used to be one called Endurance, didn't there?
We've had some good ones in the past.
And then what used to be the Family Channel, which is now Challenge, they also did Endurance UK. And they actually had a former Page 3 girl who I actually met before she became a Page 3 girl. Because, she used to go out with a chap who was the manager of a chip shop where I live. And he was a bit worried because she did a bit of modelling on QVC, obviously not topless modelling, but she wanted to get into topless modelling. And I says, I know you're worried about all these perverts looking at her and leering at her and doing dirty things about her, like knocking one off, to put it mildly. And I says, but there you go, they can all imagine they're having sex with her. I says, whereas you actually are. I says, that's better than imagining it, isn't it? He said, oh, I never thought of it like that. I said, well, if you try and stop her from becoming a page 3 girl, I said, she'll drop you. I said, the best thing to do is support her and just put up with the bad things, the bad attention that she might receive. And he says, yeah, okay, but anyway, it turned out it didn't work out for him in the end. And she got married, and she ended up on this, being a hostess with these 2 Japanese guys presenting Endurance UK, and they had their names, Mr. Hoking and Mr. Coking. So that was pretty good. And she was just like being a pretty face that kept an eye on the scores. So, but in the end, she changed her name, changed the modelling name to a pseudonym name, and I won't mention who she is, but I'll tell you afterwards who she is. But she changed her name to one of the, if you've seen the Avengers, and I don't mean the Marvel Avengers, I'm on about with Patrick McNee as Steed. She took on a pseudonym of one of the characters, played by Linda Thorson. So if you know the name of that character, you'll know the name of a model, that model's name as she's known as now. And she also did a Playboy video. I mean, I think I've bought that once, but I mean, it's only one of these where she's, you know, rubbing her around her boobs and all that. And I got it purely for the interview part of it. I mean, the rest of it was bonus, but, and I thought to myself, she's a lovely lady to have met. And I'm going back about, going back to the late 90s, early 2000s. So that was an interesting little story for you there. Interesting but true. Yeah, so, and going on about the Family Guy, I do characters like Quagmire. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Oh, look at this. She's making it over there. Oh, yes. Can't get giggity with her. I mean, Cleveland is more, Quagmire. That is all you think about things, isn't it?
At least my fingers aren't getting sore.
And that's all you ever think about. What do you say, Joe? Well, he's getting more than me. Let's go! And that's because he's in a wheelchair there. If you actually saw the hand movements there, that was me. That's Joe in a wheelchair. But anyway, that's it for tonight, and I hope that you'll enjoy the next performance I do here. Until next time. Oh, by the way, I've got an E.T. Impression for you. E.T. phone home. So, there you go. And I shall see you again hopefully next week. Until then, I'll be back.
Thank you very much.
Mike.